Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Matt Shad, and this is another episode of, well, I'm gonna combine it, The Creek Still Flows and Sunday Reflections. Yeah, so walk with me on a journey through the wilderness to see if the creek still flows. And yeah, it flows all right, a lot. So hope everybody is having a good Easter Sunday. The creek is high. The creek has risen and he has risen. There you go. That works out. Yes, happy Easter, everyone. It is a day of reflection on a oh shit. Uh-oh. A day of reflection on a person that persecuted, martyred, sentenced to death, martyred, and then resurrected. Wow, the creek is high today, y'all. So much so that my way is blocked. That's about 6 foot. And this is my way here. I usually go under the bridge. Not today. Not today. But that's okay because we have a alternate route. Yes. Wow. It is a torrid rapid out there. So yeah. Creek still flows immensely, mightily. It's currently, I didn't check the temperature. I want to say it's like in the 50s. It might be colder. I have just have my simple loadout. Wearing, of course, my Danner hikers, my ever popular 511s, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, and backpack. Shout out to Mike Hudson Valley Prepping. Inside that backpack I have a Gore-Tex rain jacket. I think I got some other things. I got some snacks. I got some gloves, right? Some heavy-duty gloves for heavy-duty work. What else? Oh, there's a headlamp light in there. Maybe some more gloves. Leather gloves. And a shaker, a container full of water. And yeah, and then of course I've got my wallet, I've got a lighter, I've got a pack of cigarettes, Lucky Strike Reds shorts, I have my keys on a carabiner connected to a 550 cord, and then of course I have my P238 space modulator. Yeah, that thing by my side, because you never know. Right? You never know these things, and it's good to be prepared. Yeah, bro, you ain't going that way. So anyway, yeah, let us journey on this trail. It might rain, as you can tell from the sky. And then the wind's picking up. It is cold, so got my t-shirt, my hoodie, and my rain jacket. And I will be good to go, right? I will. So, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in today on this Easter Sunday. I hope you're with family, friends, and loved ones. Make sure you call everybody, right? It's very important. I say that my mom, I usually talk to my mom on the Sundays, right? And she called me early for a change. you know, and because she wakes up, does her coffee, all that shit, and then proceeds to call everybody she's ever known in her entire life and wish them a happy Easter. So instead of like a 5 to 6 hour conversation with my mom, it turned into like 20 minutes. I was like, okay, all right. You gotta love that kind of commitment to families, friends, and loved ones. You know. Yeah. So yeah. So instead of going under the bridge, I have to go over the bridge, which means I have to cross traffic. That's always fun. And intersections, yeah, always fun. I'm not pushing no buttons. Fuck that. I'm not jaywalking, am I? Probably. But allegedly. So I was thinking about, well, oh, let's get into this, get you to the creek here. Yeah. Creek still flows. Indeed it does. Once we get out of traffic, we can talk a little bit better, I think. And observe the creek and the trail. It's a wonderful day. Easter, April 2026. I don't know what day it is. Day of the month or whatever. I don't really care. Sunday. I gotta go work tomorrow. That's all I know. Yeah, it's a great day. Great day here in Northeast Ohio. 3 or 4 days we've had 70 to 80 degree weather, and now it's like 40s, 50s. You know, and that's the no snow. I know that's a 4-letter word, right? No snow in the forecast, but man, the sky looks like it could. I don't think it's that cold though, right? But you never know around here. Took off Saturday night. I don't know if y'all have this feeling as well, sense of urgency to do things, and that's what I've been doing, is like kind of taking stock of everything I got, reorganizing and doing like some spring cleaning kind of thing, just organizing my winter mess. My chaotic mind, it likes to just pile things up, off in the corner, whatever, kind of just discarded for now, forgotten about for now. And then yesterday was the day I was like, you know what, I got to get this shit done. Right? I got a bunch of, I liberated my canning goods, and I've canned like 5-6 years ago. Had them in storage, liberated them so I could store them in the house, or the apartment. And that's always the struggle, is finding room. Got so much shit, man, so much gear. And it's really not a lot, actually. I mean, I could essentially fill up my truck, my big ass SUV, with everything I own and be gone in like an hour. But in an apartment, it's like, fuck, you accumulate a lot of shit. Threw away shit. I mean, I threw away so much stuff, just junk. It dawned on me when I liberated the stuff. It was my canning supplies were in a container, large tote, wheels and a handle. And what I'd done, I think it's like 26 quarts. Yes, 26 quarts of various things. I got them laid out on a table right now, just chilling. I want to do some more canning, but that's like 5-6 years ago. I got some like 2021, 2022, you know, that I've just been I canned up. Check the archives for the exact dates and times that I did it. Back when the cannibals were a thing. Got those laid out, and you know, looking for a place to do like a long-term storage of it. Yeah, the water's high around here. Everything's flooded. The banks of the creek are flooded. So yeah, and I've got all my other gear, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, camping supplies and LARPing supplies, lots of LARPing things, right? Just making a place, keep making a home for everything, right? Just organizing myself, organizing my shit. Get your shit together, right? Spring cleaning. As you can tell, it's almost spring around here, almost. And I don't know, you know, wintertime, you're like, fuck this, I get it later. It's been kind of my mentality, you know, for winter. I knew I had some things I had to do, like grab this, grab that, consolidate. I like to consolidate my shit. Like, I'll make piles. I'll make piles of things, consolidate and stage, you know, and then process it and find a place for it, find a home for it. And he's like, wow, man, I got a lot of medical supplies and got a lot of hygiene gear, hygiene supplies just scattered everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck? So I just started compiling everything. Ammo, I found a lot more ammo than I thought I had. Magazines and all kinds of shit, cleaning gear. I'm like, damn, lubes and cleaning solvents. And I'm like, oh wow, I've been looking at that for a long time, for years. I found it. You know, you find all these little things. So anyway, yeah, what I was going to say. Yeah, I took this tote, and when I was moving out, I literally took this tote and dedicated it to my my canning jars, my quarts. And I didn't have any way to, you know, I'm moving things, so, you know, going from that thing to a truck, to a storage unit, and then from a storage unit to wherever it's going to be, you know, unloaded. I literally took everything, like all my receipts and papers and, you know, cards, and, you know, I like to network, and, you know, I go to these things and I'm like, hey, you got a card? Oh yeah. So receipts and invoices and all that shit. That's what I use to pack the tote with the jars, the canning jars in, full of stuff, so they wouldn't clang together and break. And it worked. It was fucking pretty chaotic and haphazard. Definitely a madness to my method. So, but it worked, and everything survived, thankfully. And so, maybe I'll show that later. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And working out. Getting myself in, like, usually I do like, my workout is like kung fu stuff. You know, I'll sit in a horse stance, or do like some low impact tai chi, or I'll take my weapons and play with them, you know, swing them around and shit. This one I just went old school, man. I went flutter kicks and push-ups. I'm like, damn, man, I'm sore as fuck. But yeah, flutter kicks and push-ups. Today is I'm kind of recuperating, but I still wanted to get like a workout in, and so I'm on a hike. I might come back home and do some more flutter kicks or whatever. But man, I am sore. Starting out, you know, you're like, oh god, this sucks. Oh, the pain. You know, the afterwards, the recovery. Yeah, I'm doing all the creatines. Okay, this trail beckons me into the woods. What do you think? I think it's worth a investigation. So yeah, I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling the vibe of spring almost there. On the edge. What are these things, man? Look at that. It's huge too. It's like catching the water. I wonder if they're edible. Oh. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I got a feeling. And it's always good to get your shit together. Alright, thorns, not going that way. That leads to an open field of nothing else but thorns. So, good to know. Yeah, these things are popping up, man, everywhere. Look at that. Tell me what they are in chat. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just feeling it, folks. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that sense of urgency. I'm sure you all are too. I remember years ago, decades ago, they called this the quickening. This is the age of the quickening, right? The veil is being lifted. I mean, there's so many. The Kali Yuga. We're in the Kali Yuga stage. If you don't know what that is, it's a time of peril and destruction. You know, for rebirth. So, yep. How you doing? Yeah, I got some hardcore runners out here, trotting along. Good to see. Yeah, that's where that trail leads to. Nothing but just thorns, thick brush. I mean, I could crawl underneath it. Wow, I don't want to do all that. I don't have to do all that. It's an option. Get on my belly and crawl. But anyway, just feeling a sense of urgency. You know, maybe it's and I like to put myself in a heightened state of awareness. You know, almost like a DEFCON indicator. You know, boom, we're at DEFCON Alpha. You know, DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2. You know, just because of things and shit that's going on in the world, in your local area, you know, it's like, okay, well, got to get this out, got to get that out, got to start carrying this thing and this thing and this thing. Oh yeah, medical supplies. Usually I keep like at work I carry a big old IFAK and, you know, tons of tourniquets and all that. But I noticed, like now, I just have a small little medical kit. Yeah, it's got tourniquets and shit. Basically just to stop the bleed, plug the hole, stop the wound, you know, plug the wound, so I can get out of there and get to safety and get treated, or anybody else. But I need to start carrying more of that in my daily life. Like I've been, you know, my threat escalation or threat level rises. I take a more defensive to offensive stance. So I'm carrying, you know, my P238, my space modulator, P238 space modulator. Yep. With the red dot. I've showed it before. My Shadow Systems red dot. It's the same one with the can that I bought I bought a can for it. Oh, that reminds me, I got to get a fucking spring for it. Anyway, you know, and usually two mags. And then what I've started doing is putting extra mags in my backpack or whatever. All right, you know what that is? I know what that is. That's mullein. Mullin's starting to come up. Soon that'll pop up and create a stalk. Yeah, we're gonna go down here to the creek. It is huge, man. Oh, wow. It's really flooding its banks today. Wow. Luckily the trail is still passable. So I'm feeling that, right? You know, and upping my game, my preparedness, getting in shape, right? Because I've been, you know, fairly stagnant for the winter, not getting out too much. And, you know, I've also been, you know, kind of doing some workouts and you know, dealing with injuries and recovery. So, you know, boom, spring's coming, summer's coming. Time to get mobile, lethal. Wow, this shit flooded all the way up here. Get that essential gear out. Change over my gear, right, from winter to spring and summer. Wow, the creek really flows. It's high today. Wow. Wow. So that area right there, from there to there, all the way around is usually a beachhead. It is covered, absolutely covered today. Wow. We might go down there if we can. The trail is it's flooded out, muddy as fuck. Yeah, there's the creek, folks. So I'm feeling that, right? And you know, hey, we can talk about the pink elephant in the room. It's war. It's war, folks, and we are definitely in a war. Just starting, the war has begun, and for the people, what does that mean? Well, obviously you see what's going on in the Hormuz Gulf areas. They are fucking catching hell. They catching them hands. They catching them missiles and drones. Don't think it's anything that we can worry about. We might see some, right? We might see some, you know, some tangos, blow some shit up, maybe do some kind of terror thing. But it's gonna be right now few and far between. How and when it escalates and how much it escalates is anyone's guess, right? That's the beauty of asymmetrical guerrilla warfare, is that they choose the time and place and the intensity, not you. The only thing you do is, I mean, they are proactive, you have to be reactive. So and you still take a proactive approach to the prepping of it, because that's what we are. We that's what we do. We prep. I'm gonna pissed off something out there. Squirrel, perhaps, or trees rubbing against each other. I don't know. So, you know, being proactive and understanding that the only thing we can do is be reactive. However you want to look at it. All we can do is prepare for that day. Right? That's all we can do. And wait for that time to come, if it ever comes. Right? But we do know, like, from a war, a nation at war, for the people, it's attrition. It's attrition. So food, water, medical supplies, gas, housing, jobs. Maybe a lot of layoffs, maybe. You know, you never know. You know, look at history, right? Look at history. Economies go just fucking dark. Poverty is rampant. Crime is rampant. So, you know, preparing for that is essential, right? There's my hill. I'm not taking the hill today. No, not taking the hill today. We're gonna take the other hill, the longer, gradual hill. Yeah, less treacherous. So we all know these things, right? And while the sheeple are out there, you know, hoarding toilet paper we've already got like a good start, you know, and just making sure that you're topped off on those things, right? Plugging any holes in your preps that you might need, you know, you might think of, you know, time to get creative, right? Oil, you know, I'm thinking, man, I need to fix my car, fix my vehicle, get some extra oil, filters, fix that fucking fuel system that keeps fucking up, or whatever, tires, right? Shit like that. Basic maintenance of a vehicle. The rest of the world, that's why mechanics make so much money, is that people don't care, people don't worry about it until it breaks, and then they scramble and fight to find a mechanic or a shop to fix everything, you know, when you could have done it yourself a long time ago. And I say this, and it might sound like I'm preaching to you, but I'm guilty of it as well. So, great procrastinator. Hey, the stump is gone. The chair is gone. Wow. A lot of things have changed out here. A lot of down trees. They've cut trees up and down. Yeah. That's what I'm focusing on. And yeah, you know, gaming on things. Wondering, okay, you know, how far is this going to escalate? So how can if things get so bad that I have to relocate, that's pretty bad, right? You know, that's the whole thing, the montage of bugging out. And I was talking to a friend of mine at work, and he was talking about, oh, bugging out, that means you got to get out of the area fast. Yeah, I mean, in the past, that's kind of what it meant, right? You know, and that's the whole idea, is grab your bug out bag and run like hell. But it's gotten to the point now where bugging out could be, instead of like an hour, 30 minutes, it's like, I'm going to take a week to bug out. Get all these things taken care of. You know, he's got a good point. Bug out used to mean, let's go now. And let's go fast. Right. Like fast like a bug. Go. So, makes sense, right? But if it gets to that point, then it's bad. It's very bad. Either there's civil unrest, or you know, some kind of like armed insurgency, or natural disaster, or infrastructure failure. You know, things like that. Think about what would make you bug out. Ha, what's up, buddy? Little chipmunk. I ain't gonna lie, this hill's an ass kicker. Gradual, but so creek still flows. We think about those things. You think, okay, yeah, we got. That's the prepping 101. Shout out to Prepper 101. That's the whole idea behind it, right? Which way do I want to go? If we go this way, we'll come back down the hill. Yeah. Which leads me to another reflection I was having, which I alluded to in Lackluster Fridays, is how do you want to die? If you had your druthers, shout out to Dave out there, if he's watching. That's where I got that word from decades ago. If I had my druthers, right? if I had my way, my wish was granted, how would you want to die? I know it's morbid to think that but it's kind of apropos for this day on Easter Sunday. Jesus chose how to die. He could have escaped. He could have went out fighting, which was debated. Him and his disciples were like, let's fight, and let's go. I traded my cloak for a sword. Let's go. Fuck them Romans. Let's take them down. Fight to the bitter end. And Jesus chose, no, I'm just gonna martyr myself. I'm gonna sacrifice myself. The ultimate sacrifice. And it's going to be a very painful, torturous thing. A long and painful, torturous death. Where he actually submitted and gave up. My God, why have thou forsaken me? Right? One of his words on the cross. It's a painful way to die. Painful way to die. And after being tortured and starved and deprived of food and water, the Romans, are just brutal. Then they made him carry his cross, which was fucking heavy, and then hung him for days to die. After being beaten, bruised, loss of blood, weak as hell, he chose that death. He knew full well what the Romans would do to him. He gave his life for us, right? And can you imagine being there, watching this whole thing as a civilian of occupied Jerusalem, as this Messiah is beaten, bruised, and battered, tortured, and then given the worst death sentence ever. And he did it freely. Right? All his miracles, all his power. He had the abilities. He could have said, no, not today. Not today, Satan. Boom, kick that ass. But he didn't. He chose his own death. Pretty profound, right? And yeah, the enemy has the same thing. The jihad, right? Give myself for the service of my the cause, if you will. Blow yourself up, create do a self-deleting by police because of a mass casualty event that you perpetrate. Those crazies, fanaticals, fundamental radicalist, right? Buddhist monks during Vietnam that would just sit down in the middle of public and immolate themselves, sitting calmly as they burn to death, doused and drenched in gasoline. No emotion, no freaking out. Whole world watching. That's extreme, right? It's pretty extreme. Sure. And they did it for a cause, right? To bring attention to the atrocities of man. To demoralize their enemies. Military, think about that. Throughout history too, right? Not just, it's a little different, maybe, not much, but we learn from history. If you're in the military, you're taught all this shit. It's like, literally almost like required reading. Genghis Khan, Temujin, Yasutai, you know. And Genghis Khan was coming up through the ranks, about to become world leader. Before he became world leader, he had to fight all his tribes, all of them, to unite. And he had this one guy, just one guy. He was a fucking amazing individual, absolutely amazing. You know, growing up the Mongolian steppes, he loved for nothing but to run the wilderness, to be in the open field, watching the sun come over the horizon, right? But he did some amazing things, and he created the Yasutai, which was, I'll tell you the story first of how he became, wow, this hill is fucking kicking my ass. Wow, hope you're enjoying this. But he literally, Genghis was being besieged by a very large clan, and they were looking at absolute annihilation. The opposing force had numerical numbers superior to Genghis Khan, but he had a Temujin. And so this guy literally rode by himself to the enemy encampment. Says, "Hey, I got a message for the leader. I got a message for your fucking clan head, you know, your Khan." And they took him, they beat him, tortured him for like 2-3 days, constantly over and over and over. Didn't allow him to sleep, didn't allow him to eat, no water, no food, just constant torture, trying to get him to give up the message. He's like, tell us now. Tell us what this message is. We'll give you a quick death. Because we're at war here. And Temujin was like, he held fast. It's like, I will only give this message to your leader. No one else. It has to be face to face. It's like, wow, all right. So after relentless tortures and beatings and a very long, incarceration, as a prisoner of war, being tortured and beaten. Finally, their Khan said, okay, fine, all right, bring him here. He's weak. He's been beaten and tortured, and he's close to death. And fine, bring him before me and keep him bound and gagged, or keep him bound on his knees, and I will hear his message. And the leader was like, it's probably, something stupid coming from Genghis Khan, like, surrender now, or, because, you can't show weakness, right? So, or they were going to surrender or something. The curiosity of the leader got the best of him, and finally they brought Temujin in before, into the great leader's tent after days upon days of beating and torture. And you know, the leader's like, okay, well, what's this very important message you got to tell me, Mr. Temujin? And at that point, Temujin, who, like I said, was in a terrible state, on his knees, broke his bounds, grabbed the nearest sword, and killed him. Killed the leader, and beheaded him right there in front of everybody. It's a great story. It's an amazing story. Oh, mind you, after he had rode like days to get there, right? No food, no water, just let's go, right? He was kind of known for that. Like, let's not stop. Let's just keep going, you know? Get there the fastest with the mostest. Anyway. And absolutely shocked the guards and all the other generals. And they're like, what the fuck? Yeah, he cut his way out, killing more guards and other you know, important officials. Stole a horse and ran back to Genghis Khan and brought him his head. Like, here you go, man. Here it is. So that's the backstory of Temujin. And so what he did is that he talked about how he didn't care. His life is forfeit. He's just going to go. This is how he wants to die. And Genghis was like, wow, that's inspired. If only I had 10,000 of people like that. 10,000 warriors or 5,000 warriors. Yeah, it was 5,000. 5,000 warriors like that. Right? And you think about the 300, which actually was like 6,000, but 300 Spartans, right? The rest were auxiliary from other Greek nations, Greek states. But anyway, getting back to Genghis, he's like, okay, let's create this Yasutai. And these warriors were they were volunteer. You know, you're like, hey, you're going to be my shock troops. You're going to go forward into the front, right, and you're going to be the first in the battle, the first to die. So this is a one-way ticket, one-way mission for you. You're going to run into the enemy's formation. You think about on the steps, large, and they did it's Mongolian, so they used the bow and the horse. That was their main weapon, and quite effective. They grew up that way. All of them mastery at the bow and horse riding. They started at a young age, so that's what they did. And many people, about 5,000, I think it was 5,000, you know, literally volunteered. And Temujin said, "Okay, let's start training." And they went for days, you know, running through the wilds, you know, not eating, not drinking, not sleeping, you know, just pushing themselves to the limit, and then further, where they do not have any quit whatsoever left in them. And then the day comes for battle, and they're just, everybody else is like, yeah, rah, 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 yeah, 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 you know, beating their shields, and, yeah, armored, right? They're mostly armored. That's the thing too. They did have armor, right? They had plate armor. They had chest plates. They had helms, right? The Mongolian. You know, if you've ever been to a Mongolian, you know, barbecue, that's the helm is what they cooked in, right? So it was a heavy metal, heavy metal. They cooked in that shit, and so this thing would stop arrows and things of that nature, right? They wore armor. These guys didn't. The Yasutai. And they were quiet. They were reserved. They were like, you guys are making a big ruckus. All right. And they quietly, slowly got on their horses, no armor, because they wanted to be fast and light and maneuverable. They prized maneuverability over protection because they knew they were going to die anyway. Like, well, we're going to die anyway, so let's make the most of it. Let's make it count. Let's get in there as fast as we can and disrupt and destroy as many of the enemy as we can. So that's what they did. And the rest of the troops, right? And let's talk about the numbers. Genghis Khan, I think he had 10, 20, I think it was like 30,000 against like all the other tribes and clans was like 200,000. I don't know the exact number. It was a lot. Insurmountable odds. And this group of 5,000 just shock troops are willing to die, ran into the front lines, crushed the front lines, created such a destruction, a path of destruction before the main force even did anything. They were like, what the? Everybody on both sides was, what the fuck? What? These guys were killing people left and right with just ferocity, just and precision, right? Yeah, these guys were wired differently. Everybody else is like, they gotta ramp themselves up and beat their chest and kind of get into the mood, almost like a berserker mode. That these guys were just quiet, just stab, shoot. And then they dismounted off their horses once they get into the main element and just start hacking and slashing. Most of them died. The ones that didn't, I forget how many, a few thousand. They created such a stir that finally Genghis was like, go, send everybody, go in. And they did this like whole, strategic thing after that to take advantage of this absolutely discombobulating thing that just happened to the enemy's army. Total demoralization. These folks were, these Yasutai were like, they said that they had arrows sticking all through them and they just kept going. Kept hacking and slashing and fighting, until they literally just, boom, collapsed, and then they try to get back up and, like a zombie horde of a zombie army, right? Unstoppable force. Demoralized the tribe so much and created a bigger, like after the battle was over, which was decisive, Genghis won, and more, like both sides, all sides were like, hey, can we join the Yasutai? That was amazing. I want to be a part of that. And so it swelled to 10,000, to 20,000, to 100,000. And so the effect that the Yasutai had because of Temujin and his tutelage is what became the ethos of Genghis and his whole strategy. Now, he was a brilliant strategist, of course, and he had a lot of great advisors that would take advantage of that, but he was known for that, and that's what created that Yasutai. I'm gonna have a little shot of peanut butter chocolate. I don't know. That's some water. They chose their death. Let's go. And they were feared and revered for it. Amazing. I've often wondered, I know I would, given a chance, would I do that? Yeah, hell yeah. That's how I'd want to die. I would want to die saving a kid. Or a puppy. I don't know, soft spot in my heart for animals as well. Right? Kids and puppy. Women and children. Giving my life to that cause. There's a toddler in the road. There's a Mack truck coming down the road and doesn't see the kid, and you jump in front and save the kid, yet you die in his, because you couldn't get out of the way. I'd be okay with that. Dying instantly. And we talked about the process of death before, in the Lackluster Fridays. If you haven't looked at it, check that out. It's about a 5-hour long live stream, but hey, that's the thing about Lackluster Fridays. It just goes where it goes. There's shenanigans, there's fun, and then there's some deep conversation. Chats where it's at, panels where it's at. I just facilitate. But regardless of the process of death, how I'd want to die, that would be the best, the most opportune. Giving the ultimate sacrifice for my family, friends, and loved ones, or just a perfect stranger that deserved it. And it's compelling to me. Like it's an overwhelming urge to throw myself into the fray, to run towards the battlefield, run towards the shooting, run towards the accident, the crash, And I'm not a first responder. I'm not a fireman or a policeman or anything like this. It's something I've, as a child, I don't know, maybe it was a morbid fascination, and just the willingness and wish to help, to be of service. I don't know. Even though I was a fucked up kid anyway, so. How would you want to die? That's how I'd want to die. And not because I think that, I'm going to die in battle and go to Valhalla, and drink mead and feast with Odin. I don't know if that's true or not. I tell you when I get there. Will I? I don't know. I'll try. That's my promise. I'll try to tell you. But my life is forfeit. My life is forfeit. I'm willing to sacrifice it. Joining the military, you get that speech. And, you got to fill out all this paperwork, and you get the talking to, like, hey, you can get your, pin my medals on my chest, tell my mom I did my best, box me up and ship me home, that kind of thing. You sign like all this, you get the SGLI, right? The general life insurance thing, $200,000 goes to your beneficial, your mom. I gave mine to my mom, right? Your absolute next of kin, right? So you're like, yeah, at least my death will give them $200,000. So I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. So you get that, you know that, and then of course you go into any kind of conflict before you go to combat or whatever. For us on ship when we went to Africa, we're like, what the fuck? We're getting steak and lobster at the chow hall? What is this? Hey, sign me up any day. Let's go. Well, if you know anything about chow hall food, it sucks, especially on a ship. Actually, it's pretty good. I mean, you're hungry as fuck anyway, right? Chow hall on a ship is pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Out there in the field, eating those damn MREs though, and whatever snacks you can bring, yeah, it sucks. But it's a hell of a thing. It's like you're eating your last meal, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Or it's the last hurrah before you get deployed. I'm like, all right, guys, everybody, we're going to the bar. Let's go, right? We're gonna get it drunk. Get your affairs in order. That kind of thing. It's get cold sitting here. But see a lot of people crack too. A lot of folks just like, I don't want to die in war. No. I want to come home. I want to die in my own bed. You know, old and worn out. Had a good life. Surrounded by my families, friends, and loved ones. And my cat and dog. To die, pass away peacefully in my sleep. All my affairs taken care of. Last will and testament filled out. But that's not how a majority of people die. Do they? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the statistics. A lot of people die suddenly. Just like that. Just like that, the light's out. And then you move to the light. Step into the lights. Oh. Car accidents, shootings, fatal accidents, work-related incidents, domestic disputes, cancer, sickness, illness. We do have a majority of people that die of old age because we have such a higher standard of living for longer. It's truly amazing. Think about it. 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Look at the average lifespan has went up incrementally throughout the years. There was a time when 30 years old, you were old. Right? I know, I keep doing that. Lights out. Black lights. Let us continue down this path. That's how it was. You made it to 30 years old, man. You were close to death. Because you had been in wars. You had been through sickness and famine. Let's go that way. Go this way. See the top of my hill. Quickest way. Lots of trees right down. Brand new section of just gnarled up, chewed up trees over there. You know what? I guess it is still down. You survived the war, went back home with some type of ailment or something. You maybe lasted like another couple of years and then you just died. Succumbed to your afflictions and illnesses. "30 years old. Imagine that. Being an old man at 30. Now we've got 80, 90, 100 years old. People live a long time. And the quality of life is different. You know? Are you trying to block the trail here? I don't know. It's definitely been cut. do you want to die? A lot of people die alone in their house, apartment, forgotten by the world. Their funeral is quick. No one there. No one they know. Everyone they know doesn't care or has passed away themselves. State takes care of their body, cremated, whatever. Oh, yeah, it's getting a little. This is steep and treacherous here, y'all. Die on this live stream. What happened to Shad? When he fucking slid down a fucking hill and impaled himself on the, various spears that are broken trees down there. I don't know. How do you want to die? You're in the woods, you get mauled to death by a bear. Torn apart by coyotes. How do you want to die? There's so many ways to die around here. On this planet, on this earth. You'll definitely die if you leave this atmosphere. Go too high up. There's no oxygen up there. It's very cold. There's people that have done that. That's how they want to die. Chase death is to live life. It's a profound experience. Yeah, temperature's dropping. My hands are cold, my ears are cold. My difficult trail that I usually take is becoming more difficult. There's down trees on the trail. This tree splintered and fell. Damn. Pilots, astronauts risk death by succumbing to oxygen deprivation, even G-forces or fiery crash. Race car drivers. I'm just gonna go out in a big ball of fire, going as fast as I possibly can. So I don't have a motorcycle, I guess. I would definitely die that way. Need for speed. How do you want to die? Want to die in a gunfight? Shot to death, slowly bleed out? It's a question that eludes the other question of how you want to live. I'm asking the question, how do you want to die? Want to die in the service of your country? Do you want to die in your nice warm bed? You want to die in a mangled mess? Yeah, Rescue talked about it, like Lester Fridays. I want to I want to slide into the heavenly gates, beaten, bruised, battered, worn out, broken, going, wow, what a hell of a ride. Yeah, this tree. We had a lot of storms. A lot of storms. How you want to die? Are you fear? Is there a fear of death? Do you fear dying? Yeah, we hear about these people that just have no fear. I was like that as a kid. Kind of still am. As a young adult too. Just reckless abandonment. Let's go. Let's jump into the fray. Let's jump into the open ocean. Get into the open waters. Swim with the sharks. Fight the insurmountable odds. Overcome them. And just keep going. The Evel Knievels of the world. I don't know who that is. You're not my friend. Evel Knievel. Evel Knievel was a absolute, I would say a stunt guy, but he was just a daredevil. And he did amazing fucking jumps. He would jump motorcycles, over canyons and cars, and all kinds of shit. He broke in every fucking bone in his body and just continued to do it. And we loved it. So we grew up with Evel Knievel, right? If Evel Knievel is your role model, oh shit, watch that guy. Or girl. Yeah. All right, we're going down the hill. I'm also reminded by a little event that happened in 1776. I don't remember this guy's name, but when Paul Revere ran through and the British were coming, the British actually came, and on the road next to this guy's house, who was like 60 years old, had already been in war. He actually fought for the British, the crown, came to America and, created a family and all that. Stood alone in the road and stopped the troops with his musket and his saber and his rifle, his pistol, his rifle, and basically, get off my yard, get out of my street, get out of my country, And he took a whole bunch of them down in his 60s. All right, was willing to fight and die right there and then against insurmountable odds. A British army, he's just one man in his 60s, a veteran of wars. He's like, this is it. This is my last stand. Well, they shot him, they beat him, they bayoneted him like 13 times, left him for dead and kept walking, right? Kept marching. He lived he died in his 80s. So he was able to make that stand and watch as his country defeated the British for another 20, 30 years. I forget, 80s. I forget the actual timeline. Decades went by, and he watched it, and he sired many children. Talk about doing your part. But he willingly just said, fuck it, I'm going out right here, right now. Let's go. There's some more of these things. 2 more. 3 more. Cool. Popping right up. We've had a lot of rain. Now it's getting colder. There's another one. Probably too close. Yeah. Imagine that, dude. How do you want to die? And he died of old age. He died of old age. Amazing. And how many rednecks have we heard of or seen or knew? It was like, hey, hold my beer. Boom! Death. You have chosen death. You know. I'm gonna fix this down power line. Hold my beer. All right. Bzz. You look like a mosquito in a bug lamp. Bzz. Do you want to what? You want to die in a quick death, or do you want to die in a long, agonizing death? Long process. I'm torn, actually, because I know about death and the process of death and its profoundness in your life, in my life. I've seen a lot of people die firsthand. I was in the same room with them, or watched them die. A lot of animals die in my arms. I would either want to die fighting with my boots on, probably the best way, or be allowed to go through the process of death and enjoy its wonders. Yeah. To enjoy the process of death and passing on. Because a quick death is just boom, you know. Is it? You're dead. No time. They say that the process still begins, or still happens, but it's very quick, right? It's done, right? But when you're slowly dying, you have more time to reflect and go through the process and experience the entire process of your body shutting down, your mind, your body, your soul. Everything's changing. So, you know, I don't know. I'm going to refer to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Sleeping, dreaming, and dying is all the same process to the mind. Mind really doesn't know the difference. Leave your body, kind of thing. Wow. That deer slipped. Like, ah. La 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 la. Moving around. Oh shit! Boom. All right, let's go. Deer slipped in the mud. Oh. But there's stories of the monks. They would they know they're close to death, and they would just they'd lock themselves in a room and meditate, sit and meditate through their death. And it'd be a process, a long process, weeks, months. That's where we just were, top of that hill. I'll take that hill sooner or later, once it gets warmer and drier, and I get stronger. So you imagine that? Like, I'm just going to sit here and die and breathe. And then eventually I'm not going to breathe. And they found that death, that process, after for one, they don't know when they're dead. People coming to check on them don't know if he's dead or not, because he's just laying there. Cool. Runner and her dog. So, just going through the motions, just sitting there and going through that process of death. The life review, seeing yourself through other people's eyes, experiencing what they experienced, that kind of thing. The celestial bands, the music, the outer body experience that you have. That's the thing. We're gonna go this way. Check out the creek. Back way. I would like to do that. But to do that, they train. They are masters of meditation. Masters of... You ever meditated? Like literally sit there? I'm good for about 30 minutes. 20, 30 minutes. I just can't take it anymore. I used to do it for hours. I think I'm good for like 20, 30 minutes. Just literally trying to get as still as possible. That's a pretty muddy mess there. I don't know about that. Maybe. If it's easy going. I'll get bogged down in the mud. That kind of appeals to me. And they found out that when they checked on the body and, okay, we think he's dead. But he had practiced majority of his life to slow his breathing down, to slow his heart rate down. So you hear about the yogi masters of India that just sit there in a vacuum, in a void, no oxygen for hours. Hours just sitting there. And then they open the door and they're like, hey, let's go. I'm hungry. I gotta pee. Huh? What? You've been sitting here for hours. Yeah. Well, looks like the deer have come in here to take a drink. I wouldn't mind experiencing that kind of death. Wow, all kinds of tracks. Looks like raccoon. It's not muddy, it's like sandy, so I think we're in good shape. Get to the banks of the raging creek. And they dedicated a lot of their time and life to the process of death. That process of death. That's how they chose to die. Amazing. Yeah, normally this is a beachhead. Rocks. It's all water now. Moving pretty fast. There it goes. Yep, moving pretty fast here. Creek still flows. Swollen creek still flows. So yeah, how do you want to die? There are those that literally want to be tortured to death. You know, S&M people, sadist, machoist. I want to die being tortured to death. Yeah. Being sodomized by Red Hat Polka. Extreme terror and pain. Morbid fascination with suffering and death. Suffering and pain, torture. Would you want that? I wouldn't want that for anyone. Well, chomos. Yeah. I don't think they have a choice in their death. They shouldn't. We should choose their death. And it should be by their victims. The survivors of their victims. That used to be a thing too. Back in the day. The death sentence was carried out to the level of their crime. Their atrocities. Now we just euthanize or electrocute. It's more humane, right? There is a trend. It's in Australia. It's in Canada. It's in parts of Europe. The euthanasia pods. Remember Soylent Green's people? I think I'm going to go to the farm today. Yeah. I'm going to lay in a bed. They're going to start a morphine drip. I'm going to watch a movie of my life. Passively. Quietly. Peacefully. No pain. Just go to sleep. Don't wake up. Would you want that kind of death? That's usually what they do anyway. If you're in the hospital and you're dying, you're like, yep. Increase the morphine. Yep. Go ahead. Take them off life support. Just increase the morphine. You just forget to breathe. Your body becomes so relaxed that you just forget to breathe. Damn. I have experienced that on oxycodones, oxycontins. I broke my ankle. I was afraid of sleeping. I'd wake up. What the fuck? There is training for that, though. You want to check out Wim Hof, the Iceman. All right, check out his. We all know the rule of 3, right? 3 minutes without air. Well, you can last 3 minutes without air. There's a process. But it's extremely uncomfortable. You deep breathe for I think it's 30 seconds, 30 breaths. 30 breaths. You take 30 deep, very deep breaths. And essentially what you do is you saturate your body in your bloodstream with oxygen. And then on your 30th breath, you don't breathe. Every fiber and soul of your body is telling you to breathe. And you resist it as much as you can for 3 minutes. That's the goal, for 3 minutes. Because your body's like, you're gonna die. Your mind is overriding everything. You're gonna fucking die. But you're not. You've absolutely saturated your body with oxygen. But that vagus nerve is so powerful. That's why people drown. After 3 minutes, it's just overwhelming and overpowers you. You take a breath down there in the water. You know you can't. You just take a breath and you drown. Would you want to drown? Is that how you want to die? And that's part of the training that these masters would do. Like I said, the yogis and the Tibetan monks and Shaolin monks. Deep breathing exercises. The vagus nerve is absolutely powerful. And if you can overcome that, greatest fear in the world. The fear of not breathing. Suffocation. Death. Eventually you do have to take a breath. Eventually you need oxygen. You need air. We do. we absolutely do. But you can overcome the greatest fear. I think when I did the practice, I made it to 1.5 minutes. That's it. But man, it was the longest 1:30 I've ever felt in my life. I implore you to try it. It's almost life-changing. It is. Now, he does it with cold, like, dunk yourself in ice cold water. This is how he overcame climbing the Himalayas butt-ass naked, no shoes. I'm like, what the fuck? That's how he did it. Super athlete. Breath control. Creek still flows. Yeah. I know it's morbid on this Easter, but it's also apropos. Definitely apropos for this day and its remembrance. How do you want to die? Once you've answered that question, you can answer the other question I asked before. How do you want to live? Wow. That's a practice as well as doing the ayahuasca or whatever. It was a rite of passage, shamanistic passage, and tribal passage, is to trip fucking balls and see your own death. Prophetic maybe, or just maybe it's a fear. But your mind, your body, your soul doesn't know the difference. Maybe it's our morbid fascination with horror movies. Casualty vampires. And it's a profound thing on your life. I'm not saying go out and get some ayahuasca and stuff. I say just contemplate it peacefully, safely, like I'm doing. I've never taken ayahuasca. I've taken other things. And everybody that's been in near-death experiences, it's the same, but it's different. It's specialized, personalized. Everybody's experience, even though we all have the same type of process. There is a process that the universe kind of adheres to for your death, the process of death. But it is personalized. And you think about it. It's a very personal thing, dying. It's not happening to anybody else. It's happening to you. It's happening to me. And strange, the ironic thing is when you die, after you're dead, you can't really go back and tell everybody how it works unless you came back from the dead. But I know there is proof. There is consciousness after death. So yeah, you can come back and talk to folks. In their dreams. Haunt them as ghosts, maybe. I don't know about that. I see and hear the dead here. That's why I see and hear the dead. It's in the woods, in the ground, in the trees. In the flora and the fauna. How much death did it take to create such a beautiful world? Life and growth. And struggle. It's hard to stay alive. It is. You know, in 250 million light years in circumference in a sphere, we have not found life anywhere else. There's possibilities, there's conjectures, there's theories, but we do not have definite proof that there is life outside the realm of this existence, this sphere, this earth, this Gaia, this dirty snowball rock, third rock from the sun. We haven't found life, and our solar system is dead. It's dead. We are in the Goldilocks zone of life. One planet towards the sun is too hot. One planet away from the sun is too cold. We are in the Goldilocks zone, my friends. Here we are. We have been given an amazing opportunity, a beautiful thing in the universe, life, experience of life. It's here. We're doing it. We're talking about it. We're experiencing it. But the trade-off is you have to die. Eventually you have to die. You're only here for a short time, just like everything else. Life and death. And it's part of the cycle. The cycle and recycle. Life and death. The circle. May the circle be unbroken. And we can tell from other planets, other parts of the region of this world, where that circle has been broken. There's no more life. So relish this life. All life is precious. And even death is precious. So that's my point. Will your death have meaning? Will your life have meaning? Will it? How do you choose to live? How do you choose to die? Either way, you're contributing to the cycle, to the circle. Your life has purpose. Just you mere existing and experiencing. Don't ever think you're useless and think, why are you here? Well, break it on down. You are here to consume and to fertilize the land with your excrement, right? To breathe in oxygen and to exhale carbon dioxide. Oxygen is the byproduct of plants. They breathe carbon dioxide. And in turn, they give off oxygen. We breathe oxygen and give off carbon dioxide. What a beautiful thing. So get out in nature. Grace them with your breath. I had this mantra that just kind of came into my head decades ago. This is when I was doing this, this breathing and stuff, and I didn't really understand what I was doing. Like, breathe in, breathe out, right? The mantra. I breathe in. I say thank you. Thank you. Gratitude. I'm breathing. I'm breathing. What these plants are breathing out. What a great gift. I thank you. And then I reciprocate. And I breathe out. I love you. I thank you. I love you. I breathe in. I say I thank you. In my mind, in my body, my soul. I breathe out. I say I love you. Here's your gift. I receive a gift. I give a gift. With every breath we do that. Every breath. And intention is everything. So don't ever think you're here for no reason whatsoever. And don't ever think I've heard this before. I didn't ask to be here. Maybe you did. And maybe you're needed here. Just for that sole purpose. The basic purpose. And then when you die, where do you go? Go into the dirt. Become mud. Nourishment. Plants and animals and trees. If you have families, if you have family, friends, loved ones, you're working hard to provide for them. We're working hard as a species, as a sentient being, to continue and to enrich this world and contribute to this great gift of life. It's a great gift. Like I said, regardless of your religion or whatever, there's that aspect as well. Especially on this day, right? There's nothing. We have not found any life. Any proof of life. Maybe somebody has. We haven't. I haven't. You can go down the rabbit hole. You can argue it with me. Oh yeah, there's Alpha Centauri. Oh, there's the Andromeda. Oh, there's the dark side of the moon. I don't fucking know that. I have no proof of that. Most people don't. 9 billion of us on this planet. 9 billion. And growing. The more the merrier, I say. I think they said that we could accommodate up to 100 billion and still be fine. With enough resources to go around. Because think about that too. The more people, we're breathing more carbon dioxide. and creating more oxygen from plants that we eat that create the system, the ecosystem of life. Deer eat plants. Cows eat plants. We eat deer, we eat cow. It's a beautiful system. That simplicity and that pulling back and looking at the big picture changes everything for me. Puts things all in perspective. It makes a lot of other things just a mere insignificance, like war and famine and pestilence, things that are going on in my life that are not what I think it should be. Right? It reminds me of a great gift that we were given. And reminds me of that circle of life and death. So it doesn't matter really how I die. To me it does. And having a good word, a good reputation, that's a good thing, right? You know. And that would just be solidified with my meaning of death. If I was to give myself in the service of others, it'd be worth it. Talk about getting a good one, good reputation. You know, Havamal, Odin. Cows die, kinsmen die. We all die the same. But I know of one thing that never dies, and that is those who get a good one, a good reputation. So, how you live your life is just as important as how you die, how you end your life, how your life is ended. This path, you can see behind me, that's where I came from. But I see where I'm going, but I don't know what's around that other bend, what's around that corner. That's life and death. We don't know what's around that corner, what lies around the bend, but we are absolutely compelled to find out. That's what drives us. This has been Matt Shad, Sunday Reflections, and the Creek Still Flows. Happy Easter, everyone.